Hello everyone, this is GoOdy giving you part 3 of a replay between mouzHasu and GoOdy here on Steppes of War. We do see some Hellions now over here trying to put some pressure down, but quickly getting destroyed by these carriers and these stalkers with this immortal support. A lot of these immortals are low on hit points, so really nice micro. I'm trying to constantly make sure that there are shields here, and now Hasu taking this other expansion over here. This is going to be a very interesting play now, as Hasu has taken the whole entire right side of the map versus GoOdy taking the whole entire left side of the map. How is this all going to work out? All the production buildings are in the back of the base, so Hasu really trying to protect his economy, quickly losing one carrier, however. Does have level 2 weapons upgrade, and Stalkers now moving in, blinking, and trying to fight back and forth. These Vikings able to just continue to pursue, and in comes some Psy Storms. Are these Psy Storms going to be able to deal enough damage? Not quite sure. No, not able to get enough Psy Storms off. The range of these siege tanks and these Vikings really hurting Hasu at this stage. However, Hasu able to mine out of this gold mineral location over here. So this may be able to help him up a little bit further. Now outmoves this army, and now using this advantage. Now using this advantage by trying to come back around, as there are Vikings now slowly pressing in to take down this expansion over here. Will it be enough? No, Hasu may lose this whole entire expansion. That's going to be very, very bad news. All these probes are going to be quickly destroyed by the Hellions, as there are now Vikings in the air over here. Stalkers now trying to blink, and now quickly taking down one of those siege tanks, but there are siege tanks over here offering sight. Vikings in the air, things not looking good, and now in comes one Psy Storm, two Psy Storms, not hitting off any of those units as these siege tanks continuing to fire back and forth. The photon cannons are not within range of those siege tanks, so things not looking good at all. There are a large 6 High Templars sitting there, and we also have another command center here, perhaps going to be lifted off over here in just a moment. As these sides continue to fire back and forth, will these photon cannons be able to destroy any of those Vikings? Siege tanks unable to see to that high ground, but now carriers putting a little bit of pressure over here. So many Vikings in the air, but no upgrades on those Vikings. That may be an issue, and he may want those Vikings that have those upgrades to be able to take down those carriers much more quickly. And now those Vikings now taking a fair amount of damage as these carriers moving back and forth. Stalkers, however, moving in, and almost got destroyed. The cooldown and this brush just absolutely key in this whole entire fight. Another Psy Storm hitting off, and now these Stalkers being forced to pull back again. Back over here, Hasu still able to mine out of this mineral patch, and really trying to start doing some long distance mining from here as well. These carriers are still trying to put pressure. GoOdy's army is just so much longer, and GoOdy is doing such a great job. This is now GoOdy's game to lose, and the only thing that GoOdy can do is make some sort of horrendous mistake in order to lose and let Hasu catch up, as he's going to lose another carrier. Carriers now out of position, trying to finish out the rest of these Vikings, and now taking a look at the unit combination, there's only one Viking left. So with only one Viking left, I'm believing the Psy Storm was able to take down a lot of these units, and now these carriers are going to be able to just eat through this whole entire army very, very easily. Production-wise, 4 Vikings now trying to be trained up, but there are so many carriers here that is going to be fairly difficult. These carriers now perhaps will be able to get off a couple quick shots. Stalkers now in position to try to fend them off. And now, wow, let me take a look at these Templars. One of these Templars has to have some kills. And where I missed it, no, none of those Templars have any large amount of kills, so I'm not exactly sure where all of those Vikings went. Carriers now pushing forward once again, and the army combination at 3,500 versus 2,050, but these 3 carriers able to deal out so much damage, and now we see in comes 7 Vikings very, very easily. Are we going to get that Psy Storm in? Psy Storm now coming in, and those Vikings taking a lot of damage, and wow, those Vikings just getting torn apart by the damage of these carriers with that level 2 weapons upgrade. Level 3 weapons upgrade. So these carriers now with that level 3 weapon upgrade dealing 16 damage per attack, which is very significant for each of those interceptors. So 8 times 16, oh my goodness, someone can do the math for me. Anyways, 8 times 16, and with a attack speed rate of 1, that is very, very fast. Vikings are having a very difficult time trying to absorb that damage, as another carrier is arriving to join the fleet along with another. So these 2 Stargates being built in the back of the base, doing a great job. No shield upgrades yet, but with more carriers being produced, the large Viking army that GoOdy was using to relying on to try to hold off that fleet is slowly dwindling. And now with that weapons upgrade on these carriers may be able to get enough damage down off on these Vikings before these Vikings are able to get within range. Back over here, these carriers Now trying to push forward a little bit. Vikings with the range of 9 compared to the Interceptors' range of 8, I believe. As these Vikings now 11 in group, and now in comes some Psystorms, quickly doing a blink and able to catch a lot of these Hellions. Those Hellions were trying to take down these High Templars. Those High Templars are really what's preventing these Vikings from running head on in and charging into those carriers. Back over here, still some long distance mining. We're now throwing down more missile turrets as GoOdy needs to get more and more gas. Now able to mine off over here, needs to take down these destructible rocks as well, but these Vikings cannot move away from this pressure point. Now in comes some more of these SCVs, however, quickly getting taken apart here. Will these carriers be able to push in and take down some of those Vikings? Now taking down some of those units here, but a round of attack, and now down goes some more Interceptors. Stalkers now pushing in. Are these High Templars going to be able to get some damage off? No. Move some of these Hellions, but Hellions unable to get within range of those High Templars, and really great carrier micro so far, as another carrier now joining the fleet. Both sides of the army now starting to even out a little bit further, and now in come those Vikings. Vikings, however, now being forced to push back, does not want to fall prey to a Psystorm. Those Vikings are really grouping together a little bit much, as these carriers are able to start dwindling this army. Back and forth this fight goes. Vikings unable to really get any attack off over there as they continue to fight. Are they going to be able to do anything? Siege tanks now getting destroyed as they're trying to siege up, and another carrier now taken down. 2 High Templars that are all that are left. And continuing to fight. Really great job getting up the level 3 upgrades, and now giving the level 1 armor upgrades, and more carriers and more Interceptors. Down goes another one of those missile turrets that are currently trying to be built, and maybe not be able to be completed at all, as those Vikings now carriers moving out to try to finish off the rest of this fleet here, and those Vikings deciding not to engage. And this expansion over here that GoOdy was trying to use and trying to absorb, and GoOdy now in a serious trouble. It looks as though Hasu was able to take down those earlier Vikings and then be able to continue to press, and these army of carriers, even though there are just 5 carriers, dealing so much damage since they're upgraded 3-0. No armor upgrades on those turrets, no armor upgrades on those Vikings, or weapons upgrade on those Vikings, so that is a really bad sign. Yeah, no upgraded range on those missile turrets either, so those missile turrets unable to focus at those carriers, as more carriers are still joining the fleet. Taking a look at the Harvester tab, not getting any mining over here, as Stalkers with the Stalkers off of this War Prism was able to take down this expansion to the top left. So GoOdy definitely in trouble. His army is dwindling, unable to mine any additional resources, and now trying to take down these destructible rocks and perhaps do some long distance mining. But these Stalkers are going to be within range and maybe able to start pressing and taking down some of these SCVs as well. Are those Stalkers going to start blinking? No, they're not going to blink into down here. They're not going to blink down here. Siege tanks, however, sieging up, so they may be able to get within sight range and start blasting over here. Carriers still trying to do a little bit of pressure, trying to take down some of these siege tanks and Vikings. There are a decent number of Vikings, but in comes a Psystorm, and those Psystorms able to pressure all of those Vikings back. Those Psystorms dealing 86 damage. Those Vikings only have 125 hit points. So Vikings are really like glass cannons. They have a high damage when they're in numbers, but they are very easily destroyed. This one SCV wants to try to repair these Vikings, but with no minerals, unable to, and now doing some mining over here. GoOdy should be able to saturate this mineral line, and also doing some long distance mining here. So both sides doing long distance mining. Hasu still continuing to produce and train up more Interceptors, and these missile turrets trying to fight back. These carriers still just going to destroy this whole entire center position, and now these carriers should be able to move out very easily. More carriers and more Interceptors being trained up. High Templars and Stalkers continue to move out and doing a great job so far, as these as both of these sides of these fights continue to do more and more pressure. Taking a look at the unit combination, only 8 Vikings versus 6 carriers. Those Vikings are going to have a very difficult time trying to take any of those units down. As these carriers continue to move through, we'll be able to take down this planetary fortress. Where is GoOdy's last stand going to be? He's now training up 3 more Vikings, so we'll have 12 Vikings in just a moment. But I'm thinking that not having the armor upgrades or the weapons upgrade is really what hurted him. Hasu making his carriers almost 60% more effective with that level 3 weapons upgrade, upgrading their damage from 5 to 8 per attack. In comes a Psystorm, and Vikings being forced to pull away, and a lot of those Vikings were still taking that damage. You got to remember that the Psystorm, you got to see where the base of that Psystorm is, or where the bottom of that Viking is, in order to see where it was hitting. And now these Vikings quickly going to get taken down. Yeah, Stalker is able to blink in And now production-wise, unit-wise, only 7 Vikings. Carrier still continuing to press. 1 Viking sitting here. Oh, getting a Psy Storm off on his own carrier. Very, very sad, but losing one of those Vikings in transit as those Stalkers continue to push, and GoOdy says GG. GoOdy losing this game, not being able to keep up the macro on those Vikings. Hasu with level 3 weapons upgrade on those Interceptors, upgrading the damage from 5 to 8. And you got to remember that those Interceptors also have a double attack, so that's essentially from 10 to 16. And then on top of that, each carrier has 8 Interceptors, so the amount of the damage that these carriers were dealing was just simply amazing. Vikings were a good, strong counter, but after the weapons upgrade, the carriers were able to really rip through these Vikings before the Viking was able to get off a second shot, and that's why Hasu takes Game 2 in this best-of-3 matchup. Stay tuned for Game 3 in this best-of-3 matchup between GoOdy and mouzHasu.